So for those of you who decided to execute on the trading plan that I gave you, you should have had a phenomenal green day. I made it very clear, once you see a red bearish 30-minute confirmation towards our 554 level, you're going to want to buy put options for a gap close reversal. If you had waited for the red bearish 30-minute confirmation after we tested and failed to break out above 554 for an hour straight, you would have been in on put options at 550 with the 30-minute confirmation. I also made it very clear, if you see 547 crack, react as a resistance with a red bearish 30-minute confirmation, you're going to want to buy put options. If you had used that strategy at this level as well, you would have been in on put options, and I made it very clear to ride it back down to fill the gap below at 542, which is where we were interested in buying call options. In terms of where I decided to buy call options, I waited until power hour. One of the main reasons why I did not buy call options as soon as we filled the gap, even though there was a green bullish pin here, is because I was noticing the overall trend was bearish. The SPY ended up cracking below the gap. The 30-minute candle did end up closing green and bullish above the gap, but to me, this is what looked like was happening. It looked like, as you can see right here, you have previous support on the SPY, you have support right here at 546.30, the SPY cracks, and then this green candle, the high of it reacts as a resistance, it continues to sell off. And then you have this previous support right here at 542, right at the gap, the SPY cracks, and it's trying to form lower highs, react as a resistance, trying to form lower highs, react as a resistance. So that is the main reason why I decided to wait for the gap close reversal. So I waited throughout later in the day. My first trade, in terms of my trades during the power hour trading session, I did end up doing put options. It was a 50% loss on puts. Then I switched to calls and I added very, very heavily into the winners. In terms of Team Roar, what we try to focus on is adding into winners, not into losers. This worked out very successfully today. In terms of the second trade, it was buying SPY 542 calls at 74.2 cents out of the money. So I bought these call options not too far out of the money at 3:21 p.m. And I ended up selling these call options, as you can see right here. I'm going to show you. So in terms of the overall game plan, it was to hold the call options till the close. I was expecting a 543 close, a 543 profit target. Now, with that being said, in terms of the overall sales, you're going to see I added several times, 87 cents. I had many adds into the winners. And then in terms of the sells, we ended up selling towards the exact peak. I'm going to be breaking down this trade for you. Then I'm going to give you some new levels that we're planning to trade at heading into tomorrow. You guys are well aware Fridays are known for being my best trading days of the week. So we're going to be getting straight into that. So in terms of the sells, I ended up selling at 3:50 p.m., sold 80% of my position there. And then I quickly sold the rest at the exact peak. I was exiting in the 170s and my entry was in the 70-cent range. That's over a 130% profit return at the speed of light. Then in terms of my last trade, I did end up buying call options towards the exact close for the time being. I got back in at 91 cents and then I ended up selling at 150. With that being said, why did I decide to buy call options later into power hour? I'm well aware that the SPY is oversold. This went from 554 all the way down to 539.50. I'm well aware that we have heavy support. This is a very strong support channel. If you go back throughout the overall chart, you're going to see there is massive upside potential towards this 537.50 to 539 overall zone, right? And with an overreaction slammed this big to the downside, I was thinking we're going to have a bullish move into power hour. It's extremely oversold. In terms of the confirmation, it was the 30-minute chart. The 30-minute chart and the gap close reversal trading strategy were the main confirmations. This right here is a trend reversal candlestick. You could see right here, the previous 30 minutes right here towards this 540.50 was previous resistance. Once it reacted as support, the SPY quickly exploded up to 543. Which is why that's how I got my profit target. I measured the overall move. So I'm looking at this and I'm saying there's a trend reversal 30-minute closing candlestick. The SPY has been holding 540 for 90 minutes straight. It's likely going to begin to do this. It's likely going to begin to go bullish and start to spike to 543. So that was the main reason in terms of buying call options. Now, in terms of why I was adding to call options, one thing, for those of you who study the prices of these option contracts, there will be times where just by watching the prices of SPY and SPX contracts, I was watching prices on SPX contracts, they were extremely high. And just by understanding, how they move and just by looking at the prices moving, it was very clear to me, and they were extremely expensive at the time, these SPX call options, that it was going to have a very strong bullish move. In a sense, you can simply study the prices of the option contracts moving to get a sense of overall direction, man. And intuition has play into that as well. So in terms of the main foundation, it was the gap close reversal, man. The gap close reversal level is at 542. This previous resistance at 540 reacted as support for 90 minutes straight. This is a trend reversal confirmation. If you just go back and you study key support levels and you study where SPY fills the gap, if it forms this trend reversal candlestick and closes like this on the 30-minute chart, it's likely going to have a bullish run for 30 minutes to an hour straight. So those were the main reasons on buying call options, man. It was very clear as we were beginning to pump and close bullish on this 30-minute candle, that calls was going to be the overall focus. You can even see right here, this is the same exact candlestick towards a similar level, and then the SPY has a very nice uptrend for an hour straight, a very nice spike. You're going to see multiple times if you just study that candlestick. And again, it has to be towards key support. This is another time, right? Previous resistance on the 30-minute chart, the same red trend reversal candlestick, the SPY begins to uptrend, right? So it has to look a certain way and it has to be at a certain level, a certain strategy. It can't be when it's, on the downtrend like that. It consolidated and it held for 90 minutes straight. So those were the main reasons in terms of buying the call options. You're going to see again right here, the same exact candlestick, right? I already pointed that out, but you get the point, man. So if you just go back and you study throughout history using that overall strategy, the 30-minute confirmation is going to help confirm trend reversals. So in a sense, the gap close reversal trading strategy worked. Once again, it just ended up working later on into the day. And I always tell you guys, power hour trading session is the best time to trade these overall contracts. Now, in terms of our new levels, in terms of a day before the market opens, this is what I'm currently watching. And you guys have to understand, man, there's always new levels. Pre-market, we're going to have new levels. When the market opens, we're going to have new levels. It always changes. It always adapts. This is just what we have for you in terms of a day in advance. If you want to trade with us in real time, it is the first link down below in the description to get access to our secured private organizations where you get access to all of our real-time trade alerts. Now, with that being said, this is what you need to focus on and this is what you need to understand. The SPY is in the process of having a bullish gap close reversal. And it's looking kind of similar to what has recently happened. To me, it looks very similar to this. So if the SPY does gap up, if it does gap up like it did around here, it's likely going to be a bullish move, a very strong bullish move. So if we have a nice gap up tomorrow, I want you to look at previous resistance levels for dip buying opportunities. You can see right here, this was a massive gap up, a very similar pattern. Then we had a massive gap up. So if you're seeing a gap up, I want you to look for 30-minute bullish confirmations, 30-minute pins at previous resistance levels. So in terms of previous resistance levels, you can say the previous closing price, 543. We're going to have a gap that's waiting there tomorrow. You can also say in terms of previous resistance levels, 544, 546, right? So if we're gapping up, look for a 30-minute bullish confirmation towards one of those previous resistance levels for a dip buying opportunity on call options. Now, what I want you to understand is this, man. In terms of flipping bearish, in order to flip bearish heading into tomorrow, we need to go under 540. If we get a red bearish 30-minute confirmation under 540, the SPY is going to drop to 537.50. It's likely going to try to bounce there first. It's a very key oversold support level that hasn't been tested in a sense. Now, if we get a red bearish 30-minute confirmation under 537.50, that's when the bears are going to take full control in a sense, and then that's when you can really see a very nice move to the downside in terms of how far the SPY can drop from that overall level. It's going to be right towards here. It's going to be towards this 534 level. 534 is going to be your next support level, right? So for the bears to gain some bearish control, 540 needs to crack, red bearish 30-minute confirmation. Below that, 537.50 tries to bounce first. If we get a red bearish 30-minute confirmation crack under that, the bears are going to try to gain a lot of control towards that 534 drop level. That's the next profit target. Now, you need to be aware in terms of this overall market, we've been in a very bullish market. It has not been wise to buy put options at extremely oversold levels. So just have some caution in terms of that, right? But in terms of call options, man, this is what I would look for. I would look for green bullish 30-minute confirmations towards the 542 to 543 zone. And then in terms of the next level we're going to spike to would be 546.31. And then in terms of your make or break level, 547.50 is going to be make or break. If we react bullish, then we're going to explode up to 551. If we react bearish, then we're going to drop back down to 543. 551 is your upper resistance. If we break above that, then we go to 553.70. 553.70 is a nice level for put options, right? So in terms of the bulls to really maintain in control heading into tomorrow, they cannot go under this 540. They need to hold 540.80. That's going to be the overall level. And we need to maintain above the gap. We need to maintain above this 542 to 543 level. And like I told you, if the SPY does end up having a nice gap up, look for a dip buying opportunity towards a previous resistance level. And I gave you the previous resistance levels, 543. You can even say 544. You can even say 546, right? Because last time we did a nice gap up towards this level with a very similar pattern. Once we got a bullish pin, a bullish 30-minute confirmation above a previous resistance level, the bears ended up getting trapped. So if we do gap up, you're going to be looking for bear trap levels with 30-minute confirmation support. So in terms of a day in advance, that's what I have to say for now. Now, for those of you who are serious about making money and trading with us in real time inside of our secured private organization, it's going to be the first link down below within the description. We had a member today make over $1,000, absolutely crushed it, man. We had many members crush it just on the power hour trading session alone, man. So with that being said, if you want to be a part of Team Roar, it's going to be the first link down below within the description. You'll be getting access to a real-time zero-date options train alert system. In terms of the options train alert system, we are focused on buying cheap, far out-of-the-money option contracts that expire the same day. We're known for selling them deep in the money for the biggest percentage gains in the market. Cheap contracts mean very low risk, and you don't need a big cushion to trade these overall contracts in terms of a recommended amount to start with. Ideally, you're going to want to start with $2,000 to $2,500 ideally. Now, with that being said, we have the highest win rate in the game doing this. I'm telling you, you join this group, you're going to see the morning trades almost every single time is a win. And a lot of people who trade the morning, they usually just call it for the day. And then if you want to trade during the power hour trading session, that's where I prefer to trade, and that's where I trade best at. In terms of that situation, you can risk, 30% or 50% of your profits on the day to make more, or you don't have to trade it, or you can just wait until power hour to trade. A lot of members choose to wait towards power hour to trade as well, because in terms of the power hour trading session, it is the most lucrative, low risk trading session. In terms of this overall trading session, you are looking at the biggest percentage gains possible with the lowest risk. Another advantage is you do not have to hold trades for a very long period of time. You can make the biggest percentage gains by just holding for 20 to 30 minutes, playing that last 30-minute candle on SPY or SPX options. With that being said, if you do want to join us, it's going to be the first link down below within the description.